Rain slid down the wide glass windows of the city skyline as Evan leaned back in his chair, his voice calm but final. "I love just not you." The words struck like invisible glass, shattering something deep inside Mia. She stood in silence, her hands trembling slightly, though she tried to hide it. Her lips parted, but no sound came. The room that once felt alive with laughter and dreams now felt cold, filled with nothing but the hum of air conditioning and the echo of heartbreak. Evan's tone carried no cruelty, only distance, like he had already built walls between them. He believed emotions made people weak, and weakness was not something a millionaire like him could afford. Mia nodded slowly, as if her body moved before her mind could understand. Her hand brushed her stomach without thinking, a quiet, protective gesture. She hadn't told him yet, not about the two tiny lives growing within her. She had come today to share joy, not face rejection, but now words felt useless. "Thank you for being honest," she whispered, voice soft but steady. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She simply turned and walked away, her heels echoing against the marble floor. Evan watched her go, unaware that this was not the end, but the moment destiny began writing the part of his story, he would never escape. The days passed slowly, but the echo of Evan's words never left her mind. Every night, Mia would wake up reaching for a hand that was no longer there. Her apartment was quiet, too quiet for a heart learning how to break. She worked double shifts, hiding her growing belly under loose clothes, afraid of the questions, afraid of pity. Yet beneath all the fear, something stronger bloomed: resolve. She would raise her children with love, even if their father never knew they existed. Sometimes she caught her reflection in the window and saw the same eyes that had once looked at her with warmth now staring back with loneliness. She whispered to the life inside her, "You'll never feel unwanted." That promise became her strength. Months later, as rain painted the city again, she stood outside the hospital clutching two small blankets. The nurse smiled softly. "They're beautiful," she said. Mia smiled faintly, tears gathering in her eyes. "They're everything." Across town, Evan sat in his glass office, signing deals worth millions, unaware that his greatest loss had already taken his first breath. He didn't know that every heartbeat of those twins carried his name, his face, and the love he once refused to accept. A full year later, fate began to move quietly, without warning. Evan stood at the edge of a charity event, surrounded by cameras and polished smiles, yet something in him felt hollow. Every success, every deal, every headline praising his brilliance, none of it silenced the strange emptiness that had followed him since that day. He told himself it was nothing, just fatigue. But when he saw her again, standing near the exit, the world tilted. Mia. She looked different, calmer, stronger, her beauty no longer fragile but fierce. And in her arms, two tiny boys with eyes the exact shade of his own. Time stopped. The noise of the room faded, and all he could hear was the pounding of his own heart. One of the boys looked up, curious, as if recognizing something familiar. Evan's breath caught. His chest tightened, the truth hitting like thunder. He didn't need to ask. He already knew. Guilt, shock, and something deeper, something dangerously close to love, flooded through him. She met his gaze briefly, then turned away, walking toward the door. For the first time in years, Evan felt powerless. And in that moment, he realized he hadn't lost her because he didn't love her. He lost her because he was too afraid to admit he did. He couldn't sleep that night. Every time Evan closed his eyes, he saw her face, calm but distant, holding those boys who carried his reflection. The image replayed in his mind like a film he couldn't stop. He remembered her soft voice the day she left, the strength it took for her to walk away without breaking. Now he understood the look in her eyes that day, not sadness but quiet courage. He opened his phone and searched her name, something he had never done before. When he found a small photo of her outside a modest home, holding her children, something inside him cracked. For the first time in years, he felt small. All his money, his power, his influence meant nothing compared to what she had built alone. A life shaped by love, not luxury. The next morning, he stood in front of her door, unsure how to knock. His heart pounded harder than it ever had in any meeting. When the door opened, she froze. For a moment, neither spoke. The twins peeked from behind her, curious. "Evan," she whispered, his name carrying both history and disbelief. "I came to see them," he said softly. But deep down, he knew he was really there to find himself again. Mia stepped aside, allowing him in. The house smelled of warm milk and soft baby powder, not the expensive perfumes he was used to. The twins were on a blanket near the couch, giggling, playing with a stuffed bear missing one ear. Evan knelt slowly, unsure how to speak to them, unsure how to even breathe around so much innocence. One of the boys crawled toward him, curious and fearless. Their eyes met, the same deep blue he saw in his mirror every morning. His throat tightened, emotions fighting to surface after years of being buried under ambition. Mia watched quietly, her hands folded against her chest, not saying a word. He finally whispered, "They're beautiful." She nodded faintly, her gaze soft but guarded. "They deserve the world," she said. He looked up at her, guilt written all over his face. "I wasn't ready before," he confessed, voice low, trembling slightly. "But I am now." She turned away, her eyes glistening. "They needed you then, not now." The silence between them was thick with memories and regrets. Evan realized that money could never buy back the moments he missed. The first cries, the sleepless nights, the tiny fingers that once searched for comfort only she could give. Evan sat quietly, watching the twins play, their laughter echoing through the small living room. It was the kind of sound he never knew he needed, pure, unfiltered joy. For years, he had filled his life with numbers, contracts, and polished success, but none of it compared to this simple chaos. One of the boys handed him a toy car, waiting for him to join. His hand trembled as he took it, a strange warmth spreading through him. Mia stood by the window, arms folded, torn between pride and pain. "Why now, Evan?" she asked softly. "Because I finally understand," he said, his eyes never leaving the children. "Love isn't weakness. It's everything I was missing." His voice cracked slightly, the walls he built around his heart falling apart. Mia turned, meeting his gaze, and for the first time she saw the man he could have been. She didn't forgive him instantly, but she didn't turn him away either. He reached out, gently brushing the hair from one twin's forehead, and whispered, "I'll never walk away again." The boy smiled, unaware of the weight in those words. And as the sun broke through the clouds, touching the family that life had torn apart and stitched back together, Evan finally felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace.